I think that the Theta blockchain is one of the coolest projects in all of crypto. Unlike a lot of tokens, it's not focused on financial markets or a transactional token or on storages of wealth, but it's actually trying to solve a real world problem that most of us don't even realize is a problem today. But the question remains, what is Theta? What does it do? How does it work? And how does it impact me as an individual? I'm Rob, this is Bite Sized, where we try to take complicated concepts and distill them down to a point where they're a lot easier to digest. If you like content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe, or leave a comment on what other sort of crypto topics we can discuss or questions that I can try to explain for you. But for today, let's answer the question, what is Theta? All right, so at its heart, you could consider Theta to be a media sharing blockchain. Now, this is completely and totally separate from Theta.tv, so scratch that one out of your head. They're two totally separate products. How would it work? Well, imagine you're at work one day and you're bored. One of your coworkers says to you, hey, there's an awesome new Marvel movie that's coming out to Disney Plus today. So you get up from your desk, you jump in your car, you sprint home as fast as you possibly can to be one of the first people to watch the movie. You get up to your apartment, you microwave a bag of popcorn, you leap over the couch, grab a seat, pull up your remote, turn on your television, go through your streaming menu, find the video you want, and pull up the Marvel movie. You hit play, and you wait a second as it begins to load. And we're sorry, but something went wrong. Please try again later. What happened? Well, you see, all of our video content is stored on systems like AWS, Level 3, and Akami. These are all companies called CDNs, or Content Delivery Networks, and they're how video gets to us as a consumer. The other thing is that the way the internet operates is if I'm here in, say, Chicago, then if I make a request for a video, it may go down to southern Illinois, then shift over Indiana, head up to an ISP up in Michigan, before it's finally rerouted to a ISP in Columbus, Ohio, which is where the closest AWS CDN distribution center is for me. From there, the video might get bounced back over to Kentucky, up to southern Illinois again, bypass me to an ISP that's up in Wisconsin, then finally get back to me in Illinois. Each time we have a connection, we're adding more latency, which is decreasing our speed of being able to grab data. And in this example, we have about 8 jumps. But if you actually track a real connection, you can have as many as 21 jumps. That's a lot of latency being added in. But you don't care. I pay for a gigabit connection. I've got high speed. I've got low latency. Well, that isn't always going to be the case. You see, you're not the only person who's trying to download this movie at the exact same time. In fact, there could be hundreds of additional people all trying to watch this movie at the exact same time, including that creepy guy down the street. So, we're all trying to connect through the same pipes. Yeah, I know it's an oil pipeline, but you get the idea. The Disney AWS pipe can push out 10,000 gigabits per second, and a typical 2-hour 4K video is about 220 gigs. That means that in 7,200 seconds, at 10,000 gigabit connections, we can do about 72 million gigs of data. Or we can successfully get the video to 327,272 users. Is that a lot? Well, let's consider The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian Season 1 finale actually had 1.1 million concurrent people viewing it at launch. That's 3 times over what our projection just showed. And that's not even including all the other video content that people could be watching that's not The Mandalorian. So not only do we have this limitation of bandwidth due to the distance that we are from the AWS center, but we also have a limited amount of pipe that we can push data out of. So what does Theta do that fixes these two problems, both the distance and the pipe problem? Well, right now we've got an AWS system, or whatever our CDN happens to be. We also have multiple users spaced all throughout the country, and each one of them is connecting. The distance that they have to connect virtually through the internet can be different for each individual. Some people have a small distance, some have a larger. What if we were to instead delete those direct connections to the CDN and instead find somebody who has a very low latency to that connection, and then have someone else connect to that person, and someone else connect to that person? And if the chain gets too long, well, we could have that weird creepy guy still connect directly to the CDN. So now what we've done is we've created a CDN that connects to these edge nodes. Each of these edge nodes has the ability to then forward the data and the video content directly to viewers. Those edge nodes then also have the capability of connecting to secondary edge nodes, or direct back to the CDN. Each of those then has the ability to connect to additional edge nodes and additional edge nodes, and we created for ourselves a mesh network. This then allows video content to be played on multiple locations with many fewer jumps to get to the end result. And in the near future, Theta has it set up that we can actually connect literally two devices right to each other. This means that a company like Disney Plus has the capability of drastically reducing how much money it has to spend to CDNs like AWS because it's using a smaller data pipe. It also means that the distance from two locations can be drastically reduced, which reduces the time, speeding up the delivery of the content to the customer, making everybody happier. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I posted a big long thing on Reddit explaining this entire concept and how the Theta blockchain would actually work. I'll post up the exact link in the description below. But before anybody crucifies me, there is a lot more that a blockchain can do. You're not just limited to the actual video streaming content. There were also a lot of really good questions that came up from that Reddit post. Some of them were things like, how does a group like Theta handle questionable content? And what's important to remember is the CDNs currently are not the ones that are actually managing the content. That still falls on the shoulders of Disney Plus, Netflix, Amazon Prime, YouTube, to manage and administer the content. The CDN is just the delivery system. Other great questions were things like, why does this need to be a blockchain? Why couldn't it just be something where it was a regular infrastructure that a company built? Why couldn't Google just decide to do the same exact thing? The problem is with the number of nodes. So in order to make a system like Theta work, you need to have hundreds of thousands, if not in the orders of millions of nodes scattered all over the place. The cost for a company like Google or Amazon to try to do something like that would be astronomical. To put a computer into basically every street, in every town, in every city in the United States, that would just be mind-blowing. So by incentivizing it through a blockchain, by providing T-Fuel rewards or Theta rewards or however the reward system is to individuals to set up those nodes, it allows for a faster growth of number of people that are setting up edge nodes, which means that the network grows at a much faster rate, and the Theta team, which is fairly small, doesn't have to pay for any of that. In fact, the market pays for it. There's a lot more that Theta can do. We haven't even talked about NFTs or about smart contracts or how those all fall into this situation. So we're just at the very beginning of it. But the most important thing to remember is that Theta has a utility, meaning that it has some function that it actually performs. It's not designed to just run as a platform that other things run on top of, though they can. And it's not just designed as a financial asset. It's something where it actually has a use fixing a classic problem that, in fact, you're experiencing literally right now. This YouTube video is being sent to you through a CDN. And if you've experienced any buffering whatsoever, and it may actually have been put in there as a commercial so you wouldn't recognize it, then you're experiencing this problem right now. I hope that was educational and informative. I love taking complicated things and making them as simple as possible. Did you like it? If so, let me know. Throw a comment below or like and subscribe to the channel and let me know what other content we can discuss.